Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
Like that it affects almost all races.
Like that it affects millions.
That it can be unbearable.
That it's the most common genetic blood disease in the country.
But awareness and understanding are still far too uncommon.
Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
And that's a disease too.
Call the 211 info line to learn more.
We would like to welcome you to an episode of Face Sickle Cell. My name is Virginia Pertiller. I am the Serving Executive Director for Citizens for Quality Sickle Cell Care. We are located in Hartford and in New Britain, Connecticut. And today we have a phenomenal young man with us today that we're going to be interviewing. And I want you to sit back, relax, and just listen to what he has to say about his life and what he does. And we pray that you will be blessed by this episode of Face Sickle Cell. So we have today Mr. Marcus Brown with us today, and he's going to be sharing a little bit. So my first question that I want to present to you, Marcus, is could you share who you are and where you're from, and just basically just give us a little brief introduction to who and what you do.
Okay. Well, hello, and thanks for having me. My name is Marcus Brown. I go by the stage name of Chosen. I'm a hip-hop R&B artist. I wouldn't say that I'm just, particularly hip-hop R&B. I try to, do all genres, rock, pop, whatever comes to, my mind. That's what I do. I'm from Hartford, grew up in Hartford. By the time I was 15, my mom moved us down to Florida, so I lived in Central Florida for nearly 10 years. Moved back up here around 2001. 2002, met my beautiful wife. We started dating around that time. Had our first son 2003. His name is Donovan Brown. And we had our daughter Deanna in 2007. And she's an awesome girl. I call her my diva.
All right, daddy's
she's
girl.
my diva. But I started doing music. Well, been doing it basically my whole life. Started in church choirs, jazz choirs, and in grade school, and I really started, getting into writing and things of that nature in 1998, when I met an ex-partner of mine in Florida. And that's how I got into doing music. And as far as where we're at now with it, it's amazing because, with having sickle cell and, that could always be a struggle, with, pertaining to health and, and basically just trying to stay out of the hospital was the mentality, back then. But now with good treatments, great treatments out there, I'm able to, focus on, music more, definitely more family than music, but both, equally. So yeah, that's where we're at now.
All right. Well, for the viewers who might be watching this show, some people don't know what sickle cell actually is. Do you want to give an explanation of what sickle cell is?
What sickle cell actually is pertains to actual red blood cells that flow into our bodies. And with the normal person, they have, what's called a hemoglobin that, takes the oxygen, carries the oxygen, to all the different organs. But within sickle cell, that hemoglobin is somehow, I guess I could say imperfect, not perfected, where it breaks down. And when it breaks down, the cells actually turn into a sickle, sickle half crescent shape. So that's where they get sickle cell. But now they're seeing with like the type of different types of sickle cell, like SC and SS, and sickle beta thalassemia, which I have. With sickle beta thalassemia, the cells just mutate into whatever shape. Some there's some sickle and some is just some outrageous shapes, but and with the different types of sickle cell comes different complications. But mostly all of us suffer, when that breakdown of the hemoglobin happens, all of us suffer that pain. So that's the main, thing with sickle cell. We do not want to feel that pain. That pain is, we heard it's equal to labor pains from someone that had sickle cell and had a baby. So they said it was, basically the same. So yeah, that's the fear of us with sickle cell. We do not want that pain.
So, and it's genetically inherited. So I think that those who don't know, it's not a disease that you can just catch by coughing on someone or just kissing someone. I mean, it's genetically inherited. So, and it's a recessive disease. So, the folks that do get this disease, they live with it. It's a lifespan disease until we find a cure. It's a lifespan disease.
Exactly.
I think the amazing thing that we're doing today is talking about some of your talents and some of your skills in spite of having sickle cell disease, because there's some that I've met who have let the disease define them, and so they have wonderful skills and they have beautiful talents, but they kind of like, I can't do it because I have sickle cell disease. So having you today to talk about what you've done and turned it around and let your talents and your skills develop so that you can say, it doesn't define me.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about that in terms of your name, because first of all, let's just talk about your name that you use on your work that you create. You're called Chosen.
Chosen, yes.
And I just want to know where did that come from, and how, and what does that mean in your life?
Growing up in a church environment, being chosen by God, means something. But pertaining to me, when it came to music, when I first started rapping and writing music, I had a partner of mine, my first partner. He was a little older than me, and he asked me, he was like, "Who taught you how to write this? Who where'd you get this from?" I'm like, no one taught me. I just played by ear. And he was like, you were meant to do this. You were chosen, like to do this. So from there, it's like, I guess, history, because it just stuck, That's what he just called me Chosen. So so I love the name. So like, I changed it, spelling a little bit, but it all means the same. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's and we do know that God has placed in us, all of us, some gifts and some talents, maybe even both.
Yeah.
And so what instruments do you play?
Well, not instruments per se, but more of writing, and when it comes to creating production with producers and from scratch, whether it's using computer programs or things of that nature, but more pertaining to writing, because that's what's missing with music today, like especially with rap and hip hop. A lot of it's materialistic and nonsense and misogynistic, and it's not I don't know, it's not good for young people to think that that's real life when it isn't. They're portraying something that they're even not, because you're hearing a lot of these guys, they're highly intelligent, they're educated, but they don't want to quote unquote be real. Their real is a falsified real, when they're glorifying the streets or violence or whatever. It's just so I say I hone my craft into writing better music than what you hear today.
All right. And so that inspiration of writing, what types of things are you writing about in terms of turning it into music?
It's all real life situations, whether it's about the Lord or whether it's about, you know, the troubles with sickle cell, because I have a song I did write about, you know, the struggle of, you know, having sickle cell called Why. And, you know, whether it's about love, you know, my wife, my children, I just draw off my music from real life situations. I don't like to really draw off fantasy too much, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right. That's awesome. So let's go back to sickle cell just for a moment, and let's talk about how do you manage your health care to keep you viable and vital and doing what you do. How do you manage your health care?
Well, how I manage my health care well is having a great partner and a great wife that understands, you know, sometimes there's limitations, you know, physically to what I can do, and also with the care I get from UConn Health Center in Farmington, Connecticut. It's a treatment called apheresis, and I guess if you want to, it's similar to, I guess, what is the kidney dialysis? There we go. Similar to dialysis, but the difference is that with the apheresis, they're actually taking out the blood and not cleaning it. They're actually giving you new blood, so they're taking out the bad cells and replacing with healthy cells. Yeah.
So is that relatively a new type of health management that you're going through? Have you been doing, how many years have you been going through pheresis?
Well, actually, I found out about pheresis when I was living in Central Florida, Orlando, Florida, and I started getting those around 1997 or 98, around then, when I had a hematologist that said I could benefit from it, and actually did benefit from it. And I moved up here in 2001 and went to a couple of hospitals, St. Francis, that ended up at UConn, and it seemed like they're a little behind on time because I guess they knew of the treatment, but they weren't, you know, using the equipment that they have. Was just basically just sitting there. So I kind of pressed on them to, hey, I need this, you know, I got, you know, got a wife and children, you know, and especially it helps with what's important is quality of life, especially when it pertains to sickle cell. Quality of life is so important, so that it definitely helps. I'm able to enjoy life and not have to worry about, oh, if I do this, am I going to get sick? Or, oh, you know, can I, you know, do that? Can I, you know, so it takes your mind off that, so you could just, you know, live real life.
That's great. That's great. So do you have you heard of other people using it on that level? Or, I mean, because before pheresis, were you just doing regular blood transfusions?
Regular what they call exchange.
Exchange.
They were manually doing it by hand, you know, taking the blood and giving the blood. But that particular treatment has its complications because of iron overload when it comes to frequent blood transfusion. And the apheresis treatment eliminates that overload of iron. Yeah, so
that's awesome. That's awesome. So you have to have something in order to get the pheresis. What is it that you need to receive the pheresis?
Oh, what I have is a little implant that's right under the skin, right under my chest. It's called a vortex port, and it really it's like this futuristic name, but it does its job because, you know, scientifically you think, how can you take blood out of this, you know, one little device and put new blood in without it getting mixed up? But with the help of the machine and with how this is made, you're able to do it. You know, I haven't, you know, looked at the science of it, but I'm been staying out of the hospital for a few years now, so
that's awesome. That's
it definitely
awesome.
works. So.
And the time frame to do the pheresis as opposed to the exchange, is that decreased in time?
Well, yes. By 2 weeks, which is a lot, I was getting an exchange transfusion probably every 4 weeks. And now with this is every 6 weeks. So it is a
Wow.
lapse,
That's
between
awesome.
and that you're able to get things done and frequent travel back and forth from the hospital. But, yeah.
That's awesome
Yeah.
because it really gives you a little bit more time to really just enjoy life.
Exactly.
And as you say, the quality of
Quality
life
of
has
life.
increased. So
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the music part
Okay.
because I want to really talk about the music because I think that something new has happened in your life with music and you're getting ready to do something that's already probably happened as we speak. So what's happened? What's on the horizon right now for you in music?
Well, a couple months ago, I found a great publisher and manager, which was I didn't know was following me around on Facebook for a while because she saw what I was doing and said, "Hey, this guy is is different. Let me see what he's about," and not even realize that she was following me. So I ended up getting my copyrights and publishing done, and she was like, "I can take you on as a manager because I really believe in music and." They're investing, with everybody she's connected to, with all the promoters and, DJs and things of that nature. Everybody's coming together to try to make it happen. And some promotion is happening now in North Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. So, yeah, it's really building, and I thank God I came in contact with this person. Let me say hello to Miss Cherry and of Cherry Witch Publishing, and thank you for all your hard work so far. And we're my first single, Let Me Be, is on sale on iTunes and Amazon and all those online outlets, so you can go check me out there. And I have a album that will be released this fall, and we're having actually having an album release party here in Connecticut, New Haven, and on October 19th. So hopefully everyone can come out to that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. And I think that just talking about being chosen to do all these things in spite of what you were born with in terms of sickle cell disease. I just want to inspire some young people because right now we have over 200 children that has been detected that we know of here in the northern part of Connecticut.
Wow.
And who go to the Children's Hospital here in Hartford, and a lot of them are, they're growing, and I found so many with great talents and wonderful skills, and they just need to know that you just apply it, just apply it in spite of. You may have to do it at a slower pace or do it in moderation, but there is still this great opportunity, and nothing's impossible.
No, it's not.
If you believe in God, right? And you have faith, all things are possible. So I just want you to say something to some young people out there to just encourage them right now.
Well, I could understand what they're going through or what you're going through, because I've been there myself. I thinking and wondering how what's my future going to be like? What can I do to change it? Or I can't do nothing about it. I got sickle cell, and you just I would say one thing for the children out there, to the parents. Just keep doing what you're doing, take care of your child, make sure, they have the right, nutrition, look into preventative treatments, for your children, and to the teenagers and the younger people, that are my age or in their 20s, just exactly the same thing. Look out there for, the right nutrition and take care of yourself physically. Our bodies aren't like everyone else's, and we can't run the streets like everyone else, and we can't be out there drinking and doing all types of different drugs, and we have to take care of ourselves, and just focus on you. Don't worry about sickle cell, focus on you. Even though sickle cell is a part of us and we can't deny it, it doesn't define who we are and, you know, the future that we can have, you know, because I see a lot of young people, they just give up hope, or they look at these treatments and, you know, there's fear there because they don't know, you know,
Yes.
and, you know, because of everything out there, because you're getting blood from, you know, different people, you know, God, you know, gave us blood for a reason, you know, and you have healthy body to give the blood, give it blood. If you don't have it, you know, there, you know, it's out there to get, you know, it's out there to get. Just don't give up, you know. That's what I would say, just don't give up. Look out there, like you were saying, there's all types of help out there.
Yes.
For, you know, whatever your talent is. If you're a painter, if you're a singer, if you're good in, you know, computers or graphics, there's so many fields out there where you don't have to be physical, you know. You can sit down and focus on just work. You don't, you know, have to do heavy lifting, you know, because that's what we think all work has to be physical. No, a lot of work is, you know, more mental than physical.
Yes.
And that's what we have to do
Yes.
with having sickle cell. We have to find those, you know, jobs where we could use our mind, you know. That's why I can say one thing, I went to broadcasting school right in Farmington as well, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and after that, that's where a lot of my motivation I have and confidence that I have now, that's where I came from, because, you know, my dream was, you know, when I went there, I was like, I want to be the male equivalent to Oprah, you know.
Okay,
You know?
well, that's a
So,
good goal.
You know, that was, you know, my thing, and, you know, even if I'm not going to reach that goal, you know, I'm doing another dream that I've been. Music has always been a dream of mine, and I'm glad I'm able to do that now.
Well, you're on track then. You're right where you're supposed to be.
Supposed to be, you know.
So there's this short story that I talking about encouraging other people, and it was talking about great artists.
Yeah.
And it was saying that a great artist isn't someone necessarily who is into music or painting or whatever that might be that we call being an artist, but it's how we live.
Exactly.
So a great artist is a person who has taken whatever they have been dealt with in life, and they take that and they, like you say, just find your own niche.
Exactly.
And live it, and live it to the best that you can, so that it's about you. It really boils down that it is about you, and that is the greatest artist, is that when you can be who you are and be true to yourself.
Amen.
So I think that, you know, you have a story, and I know we have just touched on a little bit of your story, but I think that you sharing what you have been born with, what you've been living with, and you have a wife, you have children, you're expressing yourself through your gifts and your talents, which is awesome. So I just want that to be an encouragement to someone who's going to be looking at this and hearing that you've taken lemon and you made lemonade, and some sweet lemonade at that. So there's always hope. So now, how do you find music to be therapeutic? Because I find that there's certain things that people use to, when they have sickle cell disease, they find different relative things alternative things that they do to just be therapeutic to what they experience with sickle cell disease. So how is it therapeutic for you?
Therapeutic in a way, when you're going through, say, a sickle cell pain episode or crisis, and say you're in the hospital or you're at home, and, you know, you're just trying to get your mind, you know, away from the pain. You know, a great artist can help do that, like a Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson. You know, those who I would listen to when I was sick. You know, or when you're going through pain and you're frustrated, you know, you grab that notebook and, you know, you start writing. Just write your frustrations. You know, just pull them out. You know, and then, you know, it starts to flow. So I can say, even though sickle cell is a disadvantage physically, it's kind of an advantage mentally, because I think it's easy for us to focus on whatever it is we're trying to conquer. And like I said, conquer those mental, you know, those mental careers that are out there, like being a doctor or a lawyer, where you're using your mind, you know, instead of, you know, using your body physically. So that's why I think we have an advantage when it comes to honing our craft and focusing on it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you said that because music, I find that there's people that I've met who are great artists as well. And it takes that focus to really do a piece of work and complete it. And it's always so intense.
It is.
It's always so intense. And so I just think that having, unfortunately, the pain, but the pain has taught some skills in life that most of us don't have.
Exactly.
Most of us don't have. So that focus and being able to concentrate and deal with some things that other people may, in pain is one of them. Just dealing with the pain is phenomenal. I mean, I've just, you know, I thank God that that He's allowed me to meet people. I have the sickle cell trait myself, so I do have family members with the disease as well. So when I think about what I've been learning over the last 4 years, it's been an awesome journey, and I've met some beautiful people who have taught me some things about living with pain and going through some things. Let's talk about disparities. I'm sure that you've had some throughout your life where you've gone for help when you were in a crisis and was either not treated properly or got the worst of care. I mean, because I do want people to know this is still happening today throughout this country and abroad, internationally. So what are some of the disparities that you've encountered?
Well, some of the disparities with having sickle cell is, of course, when you go to an emergency room, you might, you know, come across some, you know, ignorant people, and they have stereotyped a lot of us as drug seekers, you know, just out, you know, supposedly we're faking and just, you know, looking for drugs. But I've had disparities when, you know, going to an emergency room and having the nurse ask me, what kind of intravenous drugs do you use? You know, and I'm thinking like, the only drugs I use are the ones you guys give me, you know, and it, you know, because they look at, you know, your arms and your track marks, so they automatically think, you know, drug addict or, you know, so those are some disparities, and another disparity when you know, sometimes you come across people that think they know what sickle cell is, and they're like, oh, that's a black disease, right? And I'm like, no, it's not a black disease. There's all cultures. There's Asian, there's, you know, Middle Eastern, you know, there's, you know, Italian, Mediterranean. There's all types of, you know, races and creeds with sickle cell. So that's another, you know, disparity with having sickle cell, those stereotypes that are out there that they just place on us like we're all, you know, like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on that, because that is one of the myths that people have today, is that it's still considered a black people's disease. And certainly since I've been working with sickle cell, I've encountered people who are Caucasian and they have sickle cell disease, and, you know, they come from the Mediterranean and other places in the world. And so I think that if we could, you know, if there was something that we could do to bring that out a little bit more, even more so than what we know now, that I think that would help people to understand that it has spread across the globe, and it's everywhere now, and you're not, you know, it doesn't discriminate at this point, because you've heard back in the day that it was a black people's disease. So one of the things that I really encourage, particularly young people, is that, you know, if you're planning on making a family, planning a family, get counseling.
Yes.
You know your status. Because if you know your status, you're in a better position to ask your potential mate, what's your status?
Exactly.
Because you know that these babies, I'm saying that's 200 of them plus over at the Children's Hospital came because somebody's not communicating. And so us having this ability to communicate about what it is that's happening because we're not communicating is a big plus. We have to keep putting it out there that it's still happening every single day. Somebody's being born with sickle cell disease. The United States have done a great work with sickle cell disease, but there's still so much. We still got a big
Yes.
gap
got
there.
A long road to go.
But in other countries, I think we're heads in front, which we could help other places to realize that there's different types of treatments. There's different kind of just everyday things that people can do to have an optimal life, you know, a good life, and a quality of life. So I just thank you so much for sharing your story about where you've come from, what you're doing, how you utilize your talents, your gifts, your God-given gifts, to just say, you know, this doesn't define me.
Yes.
I have it, but it doesn't define me.
Exactly.
If there was one thing that you could do today on behalf of sickle cell disease, what would that be?
If it was one thing I can do, I wish I could, of course, I could say two things. I wish I could find a cure. I wish I could come up with a cure. But I wish I could speed up awareness when it comes to, you know, America across the board, each culture, each race. You know, and like you said, I want the Caucasian people to come out and say, hey, we have it too, you know, don't hide, you know, and, you know, think and be ashamed, you know, Latinos, you know, the Hispanic community need to come out, and this is part of, you know, us, and so we can, you know, get these stereotypes out, and, you know, and focus on, you know, finding better treatments and finding a cure instead of, you know, all this, you know, you know, instead of all these people denying it, we need to claim it, you know, and conquer it.
Thank you. That's awesome. You have just been listening to a interview with Marcus Brown. Again, my name is Virginia Patilla. I serve as Executive Director for Citizens for Quality Sickle Cell Care, and we are located in Connecticut. We have two offices, one at 880 Asylum Avenue in Hartford, Connecticut, and the other one is in New Britain, Connecticut, 370 Osgood Avenue. We're located in the Hospital for Special Care, Unit 106. And so we thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank Mr. Marcus Brown for sharing his story, and we do hope that you will be able to come and join with us, because we need more than one or two voices to bring awareness. We need people to come out and know that this is still a disease that needs to be conquered. We still need people to come out and know you don't have to suffer in silence, and you don't have to suffer alone. Our number is 860-223-7222. And so we thank you so much for listening and being with us today. Thank you.